I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you I'll
fight for my brothers. We can go to war. Fighting for my father, I will give my life for. I feel so alone in this white man's world. Whip it in the kitchen, watch that white turn pearl. Standing on the corner, standing on my phone, standing with my gangsters, but I'm standing on my own. If you let it be his own, split you like you did alone. Sacrifice my life, understanding each his own. Toast to the keys of success. Bel Air rose on my breath. I've been a student since '03, and we can fight till we see peace.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Let me holler at you for a minute, give you game. Real scrappy, love to bada Buddha bang. Trigger happy, and everybody in the game. You shot your family and didn't even know it, man. Same rules, same code, with a different slang. Struck him out, and now they took him out the picture frame. Mama, don't cry, we gon' get by. 2 weeks later, got killed in a drive. Why must we fight amongst each other? Reach one, each one, teach one, my brother. I teach them how to fight on the grass and in the class. Snoop Dogg, all stars, yes sir, they coming fast. D1, football, we won. Now proud of my son, Lil Snoop, yes sir, cause he won. Right on, SC, fight on. We 100, keep it coming, dip, slip, slide on, light on.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Watching the warriors, the story of the rebels. You from the ghetto, did you know never to settle? I'm shooting common on the streets, I'm a pharaoh. Battling in African-American apparel. Fists on a t-shirt, youngins doing street work. Grinding till they teeth hurt, that's because they need work. Working till the feet hurt, trying to get my soul right. Used to be on old bikes, serving them that cold white. Wars in the winters, the block is hot in summers. Today's mathematics, we know it's strength in numbers. To the bosses and the runners, the hustlers and the stunners. We fight for the hundreds, we fight for the oneness.
He fights with the heat. He fights with the sleet. He said, I am who I am. I can't be beat. Nobody has won a war against me. I fight like that. 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 I fight. all of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up?
God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace, under real freedom, real justice, and real equality.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen of the Total Debt Freedom World. Richard Cooper, founder and CEO, doing another video for you today, just leaving the office. I actually have a few to record, so if you do have video requests for any specific questions, you can leave them in the comments below of the YouTube channel or the Facebook page if you see the comments there, or you can private message me on the Facebook page by hitting the message button and ask your question if it's more private and confidential. Today's question comes from a viewer that commented on a video last week, and she states she's in the program, she's getting out of debt. So she's in our program, she's getting out of debt, and she stated to her family and friends that she's focused on becoming debt free. She sold her vehicle, which is saving her $1,000 a month. She's not eating out as much. She's putting more of her money towards debt repayment. But there seems to be a lot of negativity around doing this, which is strange to me, she says. I've been getting answers like, oh, you'll always be in debt, or, oh, something always comes up and you'll be back in debt, or, oh, there's always something. It seems like such a normal thing for people to carry debt loads all their life. So far, I can brush off the negativity and focus on my goals, but I'm wondering if you have any tips or thought processes that you recommend. Absolutely. Let's go for a drive. We'll do this while I'm rolling here. So basically, your question is a lot to do with change. Anytime you're going to go and make a significant change in your life with any behavior whatsoever, it could be smoking, it could be losing weight, it could be improving your health, it could be improving your half marathon time. Anything that you do that offers a dramatic change in your lifestyle choices, okay, which is going to make you better, a better person, a better version of yourself, a stronger version of yourself, people will criticize you. Your family and friends will criticize you. Oh, that's not going to work. It's a ripoff. You're going to be back in debt. Something else will come up that'll, ruin the plan for you. There's always somebody out there that's going to try to find some way to ruin what it is that you're trying to do to improve your life. Oh, you'll never quit smoking. Oh, you'll never lose the weight. Doing that won't work. I tried that. It didn't work. Blah, blah, blah. People are going to criticize you. It's just a fact of life. You're going to need to get over it, accept it. Let them criticize you. Let them be critics. I've seen this a lot. This is all our business is getting people out of credit card debt. You have to be prepared for the criticism. People will judge and criticize you, I'm telling you. And some of them will be vehemently opposed to the new life choices that you've made to get out of debt. You may not be going out to hang out at the lunchtime joint with your coworkers every day of the week. Maybe you do it once a week and you pack a lunch, going forward. You may not continue driving the same vehicle that you drove before. Maybe you sell it just to save money, so you've got some free cash flow to pay down the debt. Maybe you choose to cancel certain memberships that included social groups and the like that allowed you to spend time with those people, and they're going to judge and criticize you and say, oh, you'll just be back in debt. Anytime you do anything to improve yourself that forces you to change your behavior, which is always going to happen anytime you have to choose to improve yourself, they will judge and criticize you. It is a fact of life. So how do you handle that? You just step back and you let them. You just accept the fact that people will be judgmental and critical of your life choices when you choose to improve yourself. You will have a handful of people that will look to you and essentially say, I'm really happy for you. I'm glad you're doing that. I hope it works out for you. I did the same thing and it worked out for me. But the majority of people that you're going to run into when you tell them that you're trying to get debt free, that you're going to quit smoking, that you're going to do this, they will judge and criticize you. So just let it go. Just ignore the haters. It's not your responsibility to answer to haters. You do not need to deal with it. And they can be family and friends. So your next question may be, well, what do I do if it's my mom or if it's my brother or my spouse or my best friend? You know what? There's really nothing you can do to change their perception or their impression of you and where you're going in life. It is what it is. Let them choose to judge and criticize you. Just ignore it and move on. Put your head down and keep going forward. I hope that answer helps you. Sorry I didn't get your name when I copied off the message. But again, if you do have any important questions that you'd like to pass by me, happy to record a video. Please leave a comment below. Of course, like the video, leave a comment for me, let me know what you think of it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Thanks for checking out the video. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.
Business is really warfare, but it's the activity of life itself. You say, well, business means I need to open up a business. Okay, yeah, that's right. But real activity of life has to deal with all the essentials of life that we must provide for ourselves, our families, our future. I have something in my pocket that, gee, where is it? Oh, yeah. I have a gold coin. In 1961, I was sitting with Elijah Muhammad, and he took out of his pocket a gold coin. This is 1 ounce of gold, pure gold, okay? Mr. Muhammad put it on the table. He said, one day soon, this gold coin will be the new medium of exchange. White people are moving into the inner city. Some of them knocking on doors. They come with money and they ask you for your gold. Because what they're giving you, I think I got some of that in my pocket. Yeah, I think I do. Now this is paper. This is not real money. This is real money. Silver as real money. Now you young people, some of the elders in the audience, like myself, this used to be called a silver certificate. How many old people in here know when this was a silver certificate? And you know what it said on the bottom? Pay to the bearer on demand $50 in silver, the real money. This is what you call monopoly money. Oh, you didn't hear me. We're going to do some business tonight. But business is really warfare. What's about to happen? This week it came out in the news that in 2016, all the major banks are in trouble. It started with J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. What makes a bank in trouble? When the value of the paper that they have begins to lose its value, then the bank is in serious trouble. And so are we who have our money in the bank. Now, white people that are in your neighborhood, they're in the pawn shop now, and they're telling you in the window, bring the gold, we got cash for you. They know you don't know that this is losing its value every day. But gold will increase in value. Now, this one here, I bought it today, or sent a brother to get it today, because I wanted to use it to explain something. 1 ounce of gold, this little piece right here, is $1,237 today. It went up to $1,800, but it began to fall. But when Elijah Muhammad put that gold coin on the table, an ounce of gold you could buy for $35 an ounce.
If that isn't something to consider, ready for revolution. Assalamu alaikum, bake 'em, steak 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, nanu, nanu. Great golden morning, family, and welcome once again to another edition of Classes in Session. I'm your brother and friend, Brother Eric Trey Muhammad. Thank you all for your participation on this getting up morning, this post-freedom call morning. Man, let's think about this for a little bit before we move forward. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that, now that particular section that you saw of him, we were in Nashville, Tennessee, and we did a conference. We were invited to be a part of a conference called Business is Warfare. And while we were there, members of his entourage went out to pick up gold and silver for him to bring home the point about what real money is, what real business is, and what the 3 laws, or sciences rather, that was determined by the Congress just at the inception of Howard University, the 3 laws that were sciences that would never be taught to the former slave. 1 was the law of business, science of business. 2 was the science of warfare. And 3, the science of mating or breeding. Those are the 3 sciences they swore to keep away from the so-called Negro, the former slave. And this is an agreement that the Congress made. Now, wait a minute now. This was just before the inception of Howard University. Okay? But a few years before that, there was a letter that was brought before the Congress in Virginia that we hear about often, and we treat it like it's a myth, like it's a misnomer, like it couldn't have possibly happened. But we see evidence of it every day. It was known as the Willie Lynch letter. How to keep the people a slave for the next 300 years. And laid out the divide and conquer tactics, laid out the psychic that needed to be created and infused amongst us in order for us to never come together, never remember people for what they have done to us, and never grow into any kind of power as an economy. Now, we are, in terms of talking about Black people in America, we are the 8th largest economy in the world. and we're not even united. The 8th largest economy in the world, and we're not even united. I want to share this other point. In 2016, when this presentation was given, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan cited how when he got that coin, gold at that time was $1,237 an ounce. Just before he got the coin, gold had shot up to $1,800 an ounce. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad introduced the gold coin to him, it was $35 an ounce. This alone should beat back all your naysayers who challenge you when they say gold doesn't hold value. I guarantee you your paper doesn't. Gold will always increase in value. In fact, gold at the beginning of this week hit $1,800 an ounce. And we constantly share that, number one, gold is money. We constantly share that we have a free gold savings account for you where you can learn how to exchange your paper dollars for gold. You know, next week, I believe, Brother Wendell, I think if you're available, we should do an interview, a one-on-one on this platform to talk about the power of exchanging paper for gold. Hopefully you'll be amenable to that. Would y'all like to hear from Brother Wendell Osborne? Brother's fire. Okay. And we show you how we don't spend, we don't buy, we just simply exchange, because you can't buy money. Gold is money. We're not talking about currency. We're not talking about paper. We're not talking about fiat. We're talking about money. Gold is money, folks. Okay. So I welcome y'all to another edition of Classes in Session. I want to thank all the presenters this morning as we move forward. Now, for those who don't know, who are visiting for the first time, we are here every Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Those are before freedom hours for some of you. For many of us, it's just a reminder of what we used to do for the plantation. We used to give our all to the enemy, get up at 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock to make sure we're there at 8 o'clock. Well, if we can give our all to someone who's given us nothing, we can do it. What less can we do for ourselves, if not more? Okay, so we welcome you here. We're going to go through some housekeeping notes when we challenge this opportunity to secure a life after death. Sorry, debt, which is also debt. Death. All right, house rules. Let's see. That's the minister's message. You heard from him. He's here Saturday, July 4th, NOI.org. The screen is moving and doing what it wants to do right now. We'll come back to it. There we go. July 4th, NOI.org, 8 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. in the UK and West Africa, all over the world. NOI.org live. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the criterion. Blessed is he who sent down the discrimination upon his servant, that he might be a warner to the nations. He'll be with us on July 4th, worldwide, live and direct. I also want us to pay attention that just before that program, class is in session. It does begin at 8 a.m. This particular class is the special edition. It is back by popular demand. Our brother and friend, the founder and CEO of Wealthbuilders Worldwide, Mr. Tyrone Best. Mr. Best will be here 8 that morning, and he'll be speaking on freedom, the WBW system, and you. Now, understand, July 4th is an impactful day in this society, in the world, not the world of tradition as we know as United States 4th of July, the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air. Well, it seems like America's under implosion right now. So this is going to be a different kind of Independence Day for them. I think it's a Dependence Day for America. But for the Nation of Islam, it is the day that our Savior, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad, made his appearance known to the world and let the world know who he is and what he was here to do. And hence the Nation of Islam was built July 4th, 1930. Well, that's an Independence Day in the Nation of Islam. This man, Dr. Harold Constantine Zeiss, who declared gold as money, he wanted to make it available to millions of honest people in affordable increments where everybody can free themselves from poverty and debt. Well, Gold Independence Day occurs in the world of Karat on July 4th. And July 4th, our second celebrated Gold Independence Day, Mr. Todd Best will be here on this platform. Classes in session, 8 a.m. Eastern. And his subject again, freedom, the WBW system, and you. Now check this quote out just below. It says, the dreamers are the saviors of the world. That was written by James Allen. You familiar with the book, As a Man Thinketh? It's in the chapter, second to last, Vision and Ideals. You know, James Allen was an interesting cat. You know, he wrote that in 1902. He wrote the book, As a Man Thinketh, in 1902. And I'm going to thank Coach Dwayne Taylor for making that available to me. He did a quiz online one day. I answered the question and he sent out the prize true to his word. And, you know, in 9 years, well, let me back up. James Allen, he had he lived in England. He was British. He, his wife, his little girl, Nora, they lived in a little cottage somewhere off in the outskirts of the mountain, or lived off into the mountains, the hills. Okay, according to the history. At 38, he decided he wasn't working for anybody anymore. He just decided, he read Leo Tolstoy and decided he was just going to keep to himself and keep to his thoughts and develop his mind. And so they basically lived in a relative seclusion. And he wrote 19 books in 9 years. He passed in 1912, and his wife continued his legacy by pushing out a magazine as a publisher and editor of a magazine. And they have a James Allen library that you can find online, and you can learn a lot about the power of his thought. And it's interesting because it's all about developing the will. So he's one of the more underrated personal development people because he came before the turn of technology, and just an interesting fellow all the way around. So make sure that you make yourself available the 4th of July. Tell everybody that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is speaking, and make sure that you find yourself in the place to be. Now, you know the rules. Have you paid yourself first lately? Family, the world of Karat is a very unique opportunity. We pay ourselves first. It's the number one secret amongst millionaires. We teach ourselves to exchange the declining paper dollar for its power in gold. And we pay ourselves every day 1/10 of a gram. 1/10 of a gram saved every day creates a legacy free from want and lack for future generations. And for what has just come down the pipe, for what has just been unveiled in the world of Karat bars, it makes that 1/10 of a gram that we've been saving daily, that those grams of gold that we've saved weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, all that we have amassed when we were getting it at $4 and $30, not an ounce, but a gram or more. Now it's $1,800 an ounce. And look at all that some of us have amassed and stacked. When you work with God's money, you reflect his abundance. When you work with God's money and secure God's money, you develop the attracting power of abundance. It's fact. You know, debate if you want to. I'm going to have a change of address soon. My family, you won't be able to find us unless you have one of our fine, secure, completely unhackable K1 Impulse phones. Jeff Shipley edition. All right. Pay yourselves first. Today, 10:45 a.m. Eastern is the Mighty Power Call. Today is Tell the Truth Thursday, and our brother, Mr. Gold Collector himself, Dante Taylor, is our host. And at 12 noon, we move right into the live wealth building presentation. So for those of you who are on this stream and have not been made aware or not as familiar as you like to be about Karatbars and what we do as wealth builders, we encourage all of you to come to www.goldrocks.info. That's where all of our online events take place. WBW online events, all of it take place on Gold Rocks. That's www.goldrocks.info. We do a live event for the total public, 12 noon and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and 10:45 a.m. Eastern, we have the Power Call, where we jumpstart the day of a lot of people in the world, but ours got busy early. If you don't believe me, ask Sister Demawi, who's here with us at 5 a.m. her time. If she can do it, none of us have an excuse. All right. And then, of course, keep this date in mind, but more importantly, get your ticket. Saturday, July 11, 2020 at 4 p.m. I'll be doing a live event, Gold, a simple wealth building system. We'll be doing this an online event. Your tickets are on Eventbrite. You can go to Mr. Eric Teray Muhammad and find the event page there, but it's circulating through the different pages, the various pages that I do have in the world of cyberspace. Support the effort, please. It will not fail you in doing so. All right. And of course, every Tuesday, 6 p.m., join the 90-day run to wealth. It's what we do, family. We understand something. We're going to share a little bit with you today so you know that we know what we're talking about. All right. Text your full name, email address, and the message 90 to 404-246-5708. Take an opportunity to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Eric Teray Muhammad YouTube channel is free. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Let them go. And we welcome any cash donations, $2 or more or $2 or less, whatever you're willing to do. We appreciate it. You can cash app it to $eTuray, that's ETURE, or via PayPal at paypal.me/Eric Teray. Okay. I think we got through it all. I think. Yes, we did. What is debt? I want you to think about this really good because we hinted at it over the last couple of days, but we're really honing in now. What is debt? Debt is an obligation that requires one party, the debtor, right, to pay money or other agreed upon value to another party, the creditor. Debt is a deferred payment or series of payments which differentiates it from an immediate purchase. Okay, that's a general glossed over look at debt as it relates to money, as it relates to currency. But debt is an obligation oftentimes imposed. In this society, we were born into poverty. Poverty is punishment for a crime you did not commit. It was, what do they call it? Entrapment. We were born into it where we didn't know what happened. We didn't know how it happened. We didn't know who was responsible. All we know is we had a ball and chain and we drug it to work to punch a clock. We went through years upon years of education to get degrees that unfortunately now 70% of them, according to the statistics, 70% of all degrees of the emerging century, the 21st century, 70% of those degreed persons have not found work within their professions, and 60% of those at the close of the 20th century, those jobs and positions are no longer in existence. They're obsolete. There's a reason why the curriculums in grade school, in middle school, in high school, in college, in post-grad work, how they have not caught up to the needs of society because they weren't designed to, and it's because we have an illusion of what the society is. This is a society that runs on debt. This is a society that runs on poverty. It depended upon the resource of the people to amass the wealth for the few. That's what it was dependent upon. But now you have a chain of events that have revealed the truth behind the home of the free and the land of the brave. It's more like the home of the tree and the land of the slave. So many things are coming to a head, not just in America, but throughout the world, and it's revealing a lot of things. Debt is not a necessity. Debt is not a tool. Debt is a product. It is a product. It is the world's largest retail product, debt. Any money you owe to anyone is considered a debt, right? But there are people who utilize debt as an albatross around your neck or as a weight or an anvil in your hand to do what? To obligate you to the burden of giving your all or your allegiance to that product. You go into a department store, you might be going in there for a toaster, or you might be going in there for a pair of shoes, but you're hit first with what? Credit card application. Many of us have it in our mind, if we have a credit card, what happens is that's our emergency card, just in case we need to do something. No, emergency funds aren't designed through credit cards. Emergency funds are developed through saving. We need a mind shift. So credit cards, mortgages, home equity loans, auto loans, student loans, all of these things, they have a place in society because we have a role in that society, but we can relieve ourselves of it and build and maximize our surplus and develop the control of and the leverage of wealth and wealth building and fortunes in our own home, under our own roof. And it won't matter what people do outside that door. It won't matter what people do on the other side of the window from your home. And these are the things that we need to pay attention to because the majority of us are still home. We're not working. We're living off of inflated stimulus or an inflated bill that passes through the Congress where someone has this gigantic Xerox machine and digitized implementation of buttons. You know, you just keep pushing a button and it drops money here, drops money there. As long as people have your social, the dollar bill has a bunch of serial numbers that track the debt of the society, and your social security number tracks the movement of the debt. We in Wealth Builders, we don't need a social security number and we don't need your dollar. Man, y'all better come on. Y'all better come on. Look, family. Look at this. What we need to understand about debt. What we need to understand about debt. Trying to get back to the screen here before I go to this slide. Seems like my screen is having a senior moment. All right. How we handle it, talking about debt, how we handle it says a lot about us. Debt is not. It is not a tool of necessity. It may be a little hard to see this screen, but I'm going to pull out that trusty little tool. I like the little spotlight here to hone in on a couple of points. I hope you all can make sense of what I'm showing. Okay. How we handle it says a lot about us. When we delay gratification, instant gratification, delayed gratification is a sign of maturity. There's a difference. I learned this from my wife as she chastised me one day because I was so headstrong about what I wanted and what I wanted to produce. And we were tanking. The house was sinking and she could see it. And then one day she just let me have it. She just threw up on me. And after I wiped off all that stuff, I realized she was right. Well, actually, I realized before then, but the ego was in the way. Okay, there is a difference between instant gratification and immediate needs. There's a difference. So when we sit down and, I call it painfully, comb through those differences, when we do that, we can then eliminate those things from the equation. We can eliminate the non-necessities, the non-essentials. We can eliminate it from the agenda and focus on the immediate need. That frees up so much money in your coffers, you'd be surprised, because we live in a world that's created so much anxiety. We spend trying to feed the anxiety. We spend trying to feed the escape. When I was a younger Muslim coming into Islam, I remember I had come to Atlanta, Georgia. This is in the 79 or so, 1980. And I was on the street known as Simpson Road. And there was a club called Charles Disco. At the time, clubs were still called discotheques. And coming up the street in a vehicle was Louis Farrakhan. I'm looking at this club, and I'm looking at the club because I was on a bus. And on the bus, true story, this woman was on the bus. She was so beautiful, and to me, so fine. Her clothes looked like they were painted on her. And she stepped off that bus. I got off too. And she went on across the street, and I saw the club. I think it was Charles Disco. I learned of it later, but I think it was Charles Disco. And I'm on Simpson Road, and I'm standing, I'm looking. And at that time, the minister had been coming to the city of Atlanta once a week and coming up the street in this car. Hey, brother. Salam alaikum. Hey, man. I mean, Mr. Farrakhan. Walaikum salam, Mr. Farrakhan. How you doing? How you doing, sir? Are you going to join us this evening, sir? He looks across the street. I think he was looking at the club. He looked back at me. And I said, well, he said, brother, you know why they call that a discotheque? I said, sir? He said, you know why they call that a discotheque? I said, no. He said, so that you would disconnect yourself from reality. I hope to see you tonight. And he went on about his business. I was like, wow, you talking about blowing a high. Yeah, I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 19 or so, I don't remember. But that disconnect is the point. So much anxiety is created over what we're trained to believe our obligations are. We have obligations to everyone and everything in the society but ourselves. But when you embrace the wealth building stratagem, when you embrace the wealth building culture, you learn the power of paying yourself first before anyone else. Why? Because in that, you develop a means by which you can live. You have a surplus that creates volume in your mind. And the more you pay yourself, the more time freedom you create for yourself. Less need to depend upon the employer or the job. I'll give you an example. 5 months now, and everybody's sitting home, still in their homes. Remember just 6 months ago, how much we checked the alarm clock, ran out and made sure we got dressed and got our hair did and the nails done and the shoes shining. We step out, we punch that clock. And for what? Do you know that you're literally making more money right now still in your home than when you were actually going to the plantation? Do you know how expensive it was to keep a job, or is to keep a job? I'm not saying they're not meaningful. I'm not saying they don't have their role. I just want you to do the math, because most of us, when we accept jobs, this is black, white, doesn't matter. Most of us, when we accept an employment, we never factor in the cost of having a job. So we agree to a wage because we think we need them. All right, let me get back to this. When we sit down and painfully comb through the differences, we can then eliminate the wants from the agenda and organize around our needs. Take charge and control over what you owe and what you choose to do about it. Key. Those are keys. Those are keys. Take charge and control over what you owe and what you choose to do about it. And then once it's a matter decided, be consistent, be disciplined, be determined, and be honest. And handle the obligation. Now, some of us have so many debts, we're so broke, we can hardly pay attention, let alone a bill. That's okay. We show you a strategy in our wealth building presentations. We show you how to do something amongst everything after you pay yourself first. Y'all really need to come to our 90-day run to wealth. It'll wake you up to a whole lot of realities. They're just hidden in plain sight. Okay. And from Ty Best, remember, give yourself time to succeed. Because look, family, if you live like no one else now, later you can live like no one else. If you live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. Everybody's running out here robbing Peter to pay Paul. Dollar now, dollar when you catch me. That's the mentality created from this slave-making system of poverty. But when your mind is fixed to do something greater with your life, greater with your family, greater with yourself, you want to be remembered for a legacy. That's right, Professor McKay. Surplus is freedom. Credit is prison. Credit is also poison. Economics is defined as the branch of knowledge concerned with the production, consumption, and transfer of wealth. Okay, let me show you the etymology. Okay, etymology is the origin of a word or origin of a thing. In the origin of economics, the English term economics is derived from the Greek word oikonomia. Its meaning is household management. Economics was first read in ancient Greece. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, termed economics as a science of household management. Economics is a science of household management, not this mumbo jumbo that you get from so-called advisors. Not this stuff that comes across your television screens lying about economy and the times and the Financial Times. No, it has nothing to do with any of that. It's about managing your home. That's why even your scripture says charity begins at home, then goes abroad. You pay yourself first. You take charge of your post, your home, and all the property within in view. Your children, your helpmeet, your significant others, everything and everyone under that roof, you take charge of. Why? Because you're responsible for feeding, clothing, sheltering. All right? Why? Because you're responsible for growing your coffers to sustain yourself. You're responsible for keeping people free and maintaining your time. We do it in our system. We do it every day in our system. Yeah. Just let it marinate a little bit. It gets better because I'm going to tell you this Saturday with Mr. Ty Best and our Wealthbuilders Worldwide system, the WBW system, it's going to blow your mind. And it's free. Join us on this platform, this very same platform, the Eric Teray Muhammad channel. Classes in session Saturday, 8 a.m. and bring 10, 20 people with you. We only had maybe 2,000 or so people last Saturday. I think the numbers were 2,000 when we closed the session. I think it was 2,000, I don't know, 300 people or something to that effect. Let's bang it out. Because what happens here, there's a world in need of what we have. And those of you who are visiting for the first time, you know this resonates with you. You know this makes plenty of sense. But you have to get past all that minutia, all that training. 40,000 hours of programming happens to the average individual who goes through this educational system. I'm not saying the system is wrong. It's just, in many respects, misguided. When you get to post-grad work, yes, now you're honing in. You're specializing on a field of endeavor, and you can find that specialized skill needed in society, and you can make a way with that skill. Yes, you own a job as a doctor, as a lawyer, as an engineer, as that professional, and it's needed. The landscaper is needed, right? But the 40,000 hours of programming that occurs from the age 5 up to age 21 through 26, that should be a slap in the face and an indictment against any society that robs people of their time. Well, I think I said enough today. That's right, Sister Pam Dixon. Borrower is servant to the lender. See, our mind doesn't allow us to think beyond what we owe because we're programmed. And we think owing is forever. It does not have to be. Well, I use debt as a strategy. Yeah, but look how flawed the strategy is. You're still broke. You're still broke. Think beyond the box. Think beyond, cross the line, push the envelope. Debt. Debt. Look, this 90-day run to wealth is real deal. Real deal. I need you all to take a look at that. I need you to bring everybody and anybody you can to these presentations. I'm telling you, the little bit that you can get from any of those sessions will absolutely revolutionize your livelihood, your existence in your home. It creates peace in the home. Do you know that 90% of all your upheaval in a household is related to economics? Because economics was taken out of the household when we were forced to come out of the household. We gave up household management and turned it over to our enemy. Yes, we did. But today, you have an opportunity here to earn 5 times a month from the safety and comfort of your home by exchanging your declining paper dollars for gold. And it costs you nothing to do it. Because God don't charge for his money. You can't buy money. Oh, you can buy folks' debts. They do it every day. You default on your credit card. You default on your credit. What do you call those things? Your credit status in department stores, retailers. You default any of those. You default in your loans. You default in any of those. What happens when you can't pay them anymore? They release your debt to a bill collector. They sell it to a bill collector. I showed you yesterday how a sister became a bill collector and she secured the debt, right, of others so she can call them and strive to get them to pay her something, making all these arrangements. Well, we can reduce your debt by 30% if you agree to pay this now. That's her money. But check this out. As she combed through the Montgomery Ward records that she bought, it turned out that one of the people she was supposed to call was herself. What are the odds? Family, financial growth is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Build your savings in gold and learn how to do it. Tuesday evening, 6 p.m., join the 90-day run to wealth. Text your full name, email address, and the message 90 to 404-246-5708. 404-246-5708. Subscribe to the Eric Teray Muhammad YouTube channel. Donate if you can, but donate your time if you can't. Because I'm telling you, you give your time over to yourself to hear what we have to say, the couple of hundred of those that are on with us every week, you will not lose. And we got some special treats for you this week, for sure. For sure. All right. Closing comments again. Please make yourself available for the presentation of Mr. Best this Saturday, July 4th, 8 a.m. Eastern, Gold Independence Day. His subject matter, freedom, the WBW system, and you, right here on this page, this platform, Eric Teray Muhammad. And just after that, after the power call, you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking to the world, NOI.org, July 4th. All over the world, you will find this presentation. Did you see the billboards? I saw them in Georgia, in Atlanta. They're out in New York, not New York, New Jersey. Texas has billboards showing. Tennessee and Pennsylvania, there are billboards, lining the skylines above highways, heralding his presentation. So if anyone wants to know where Farrakhan is, find out July 4th. It's the criterion. Okay, keep up and keep abreast of all the wealth building events. Please make a way to support the program that we're doing on Saturday, July 7th, the following week. It's a gold event, live event, Gold, a simple wealth building system. We're going to share all that we have in the little bit of time. We won't take up a lot of time, but we just know the power of what we have to offer. And there'll be some tidbits there that you're going to find wonderfully charged to assist you in your everyday realities. Okay. So 9 a.m. it is now, or just a little after 9. And we have Sister Lakeisha McKnight doing her thing on her page. Then we're going to be moving over to Brother Kansu. We're going to be there for him. And then after that, we'll be on the Mighty Mighty Power Call with Dante Taylor. I understand there's a special announcement coming down on the Power Call at 10:45 a.m. Eastern. You want to be there. You want to bring everybody else there. It's a mind-blowing, earth-shaking announcement. I can't wait to hear it. I just know it's supposed to be happening. So let's be there on the Mighty Mighty Power Call. Peace and power to everyone. Oh, tonight, 9 p.m., the professor himself, the one you're looking at right there, that pretty pearl smile there, that's brother, I'll call him the Professor Gregory McKay. He's going to be doing a presentation tonight on Gold Rocks, www.goldrocks.info. You really haven't heard a wealth building presentation until you've heard from Al Murray and Greg McKay. They absolutely have this thing down to the science. And that's not true, because Dr. Rhonda Hollins is also boss. Everybody brings it. Everybody has another flavor and flair they bring to it. But I'm telling you, this thing that he does, Mr. McKay, he just brings it. It's so organic, man, and natural. And I think what comes across most is the fact that he's sincere. He's a free man in America because of Carabar's. He was able to retire his boss. I retired mine just a couple of months after him. I'm telling you, you have something here, family. You can't lose with the stuff we use. And if you stick with what's going on in this world, you can't win in the shape they're in. Okay, so keep that in mind. Peace and power. We out of here. I will see us. I will see us. That's right, Sister Linda. I know you're there. I was with I followed Brother Stanley's post over it, and I mean all over the country. It just took off like wildfire. It took up like wildfire. You can't tell us we don't love what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan means through his word to the world. And we're looking forward to that presentation on Thursday. All right, family. I am out. Peace and power. Love y'all. Deuces. That's peace with two fingers.
Peace. Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah, this is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenisher, finisher, opposite of sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfless, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle and tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister, no doubt. Shoes at the front door, love is what you come for. Let's get it right and unite, but do it right.
Let's change the world. Divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world. No fights, no wars. Oh, let's learn to love again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.